Here we go with vlog number 9. This vlog was about the OD we had about the cause and effect essay writing, which I actually really did like this one. This one maybe tying with one of the earlier two-parter discussions I had, so either 2 or 3. This one's a close second. This one's a close first. It is like my second favorite discussion we went over. And we went over RPC essays by Sontag, Osterweel, Denby, and the CMA, or Content Monitoring Association. Starting off with Sontag. Sontag talks about how science fiction or sci-fi and kind of like the cause and effect models in films like that. Simply said, the cause and effect here was, I kind of added 2 causes and 2 effects now that I look about it. I had the cause here is the fact that there's a chain of movies like this, and the effect is because there's a chain of movies like this, they're all predictable. I also kind of dumbed it down even more to saying that the cause could be simplified more as like the cause being that there's some entity that shows up. And the effect is because of said entity, there's just some sort of impeding doom, and there's going to be the destruction of a society or of something at some point, which I feel like is fair. These movies mostly have some sort of monster or thing that shows up and destroys something or someone. The rest of the plot is just the characters of the film trying to destroy whatever the entity is, or make it go away, or make peace with it, or figure out the backstory behind it. It's all sort of the same thing with sci-fi. It just depends on the characters and the entity that makes it different. In terms of Osterweel, I said the cause and effect was cause is mass surveillance, and the effect of mass surveillance is being that society will eventually become totally ruled over by technology, and a dictator of sorts or totalitarian type of government will be in charge of this technology. And this is all because also I was talking about the cause and effect relationship of films or films using extreme versions of surveillance and security measures. And this can best be seen in movies like The Hunger Games, and honestly any Marvel movie. But I like this. I like using The Hunger Games because The Hunger Games is basically society is divided up by 12 different sectors, and annually they fight to the death for, I think it's population control, which is absolutely insane. But it's ruled over with technology, and like this, it's one person in charge of all this, one group in charge of all this. So I see where he went with that, and the cause and effect definitely makes sense for me. Then we go with Denby, who kind of like rants on about the cause and effect relationship involving Hollywood and how their films are essentially useless and redundant, which I agree. He says that there's like the old ways of filmmaking are they lack any basic relevance to American culture, and especially American culture now. And with everything being so repetitive, there's no originality left in the films, which I agree. And I tied this to an episode of the Animaniacs, a show I really like that kind of just had its reboot recently and is on Hulu. And they have a whole song about how Hollywood is so unoriginal that all they do is reboot shows. And I love it. I love how they kind of just came for Hollywood like that. The cause here would be that America is kind of just perceiving movies differently. We're trying to move on from just viewing things the same. And because of that, the effect of this is that traditional ways of making film are irrelevant, which I also agree with. If we're going to change how we view things, we can't necessarily use how things used to be done. And then finally, with the CMA, or Content Marketing Association, Naturally, it's in the title, marketing. Naturally, CMA is focused more on like marketing and advertising. All the stories and parts of the film. They're telling you exactly what type of movie that you want to make to sell. They center in on developing stories that would be likable by the public, so they can create a market for it, so they can draw people in by advertisement. Um, so the cause and effect here would be the cause is because they show you how to create a good story effect. They will also want to make a profit off of it and advertise it. That was kind of like the common consensus with everybody, and it still sort of is. That one, the CMA was kind of easy to write about, but I really liked doing cause and effect for this, because it kind of turned the gears in my mind, and I could tell by reading everybody else's afterwards that it kind of turned the gear in theirs too. So this one was a really fun discussion essay to write about, and I took a lot from it, especially how everything's kind of just based on capitalism and advertisement, which makes sense to me. But we'll go more into other topics as we go into more vlogs.